why when we are looking at the leadership in form of the one who leads. Yet if we are to see who is the one, right? If I can say that I am Polina, I'm this, I'm that and that, but ultimately I am just stops there because we suppose that I am all, I'm source, I'm Sophia Christ and Christ consciousness unified into one geometrical code, into one sacred marriage perfection, into union. And beautiful beings, this is why within this couple of hours that we are going to be sharing together, we would be sharing codes with you of unifying and harmonizing inner masculine and inner feminine into one organic pattern. As we know that during many cycles of awakening, let's just put it this way, not so much even ascension, but a reawakening of Christ consciousness within one individual physical vessel, we've been receiving so many different conflicting messages that are saying this and this and this, and they find resonance with many beings, and all gets to exist, and all is always perfect. We attract what we match vibrationally with, frequency-wise. And this is why we need to always be aligned and attuned to our heart to truly receive all that is entering the field of our awareness through our heart, not so much with our eyes and with our ears and through our mind and ego structure, because that substance is very temporary. It gets programmed, it gets conditioned just like that.
Yes, exactly.
Very easily.
And so
absolutely.
This is that invitation to co-create with love too, because when messages come, a true, as we initiate our higher realm, heart leadership, we co-create with really refined high frequencies. We know. And so one of the beautiful rememberings from the God and Goddess realm is to remember that we create, that we can either exist in pre-existing grid work architecture or we can create our own. And this is so important, because there are grid architectures that exist that are middle realm architectures. Middle realm architectures are coded with power, judgment, status, the order, organization, and sumaktiana hatai. Futu, by judgment, I mean right and wrong, that there is this, perception of right and wrong. Futamatai, lower realm grid architectures are coded with fear, poverty, scarcity, struggle, suffering. Higher realm grid architectures are co-created with love, with abundance, with space. And we all know what it feels like to be in our higher grids, in our higher realm grids, because in those moments, what could have maybe worried us while we were in a middle realm grid of consciousness no longer worries us. Give me a yes if you've experienced a situation where your consciousness maybe was navigating a frequency of worry, of right and wrong, of righteousness, and then it shifted, and all of a sudden whatever you were focused on just disappeared and it didn't matter anymore, and you felt peaceful and calm and loving, and you reflected back being like, this is literally, yes, absolutely. This is what it means to go between realms of consciousness. Now, realms of consciousness do not exist outside of us. They exist within us. That means that if we are co-creating with codes of judgment, of power, and power in the sense of wanting to have power over others to feel safe, to feel good enough, status, order, right, wrong, does this make sense? If we're co-creating with those codes, then we are co-creating within middle realm grids. And often for a lot of people on the planet, they end up in grids that were pre-created for them, that all of a sudden like, here I am, and I need to behave this way, put this mask on, act this way, because the grid calls that out. It's like, well, I can't do this, or I can't do that, then all of a sudden we're comparing ourselves to others. This is a middle realm grid architecture of consciousness. For when we choose love as our guiding force, we're literally choosing to anchor into the higher realm grids. And in those moments, we say, there's nothing to compare to because we're all unique. I don't need to judge anyone because everyone's a unique fractal of light. I can resonate or not resonate, and I can just allow the intricate web of this universe to exist exactly how it exists, because who am I to know what actually is divine and exactly how it's meant to be? I just take care of me and I follow my love, my joy, my happiness, and I anchor more of that onto the planet. I get to create my own. At this point, as we truly choose love, this is where we truly choose the highest paths of sovereign experience and leadership. This is when we become true leaders of light upon Gaia, because we hold light within our field, we see light in others. And at this point, when we remember how to build our own grids, how to build our own worlds, our own realities, we get to co-create a new planet. This is what the God and Goddess realm is reminding us of, that we always have this choice. You can play in somebody else's playground or create your own. If you aren't enjoying the playground so much, if you're feeling complete with it, go create your own. Focus more on what you want, create it. You know, in the higher realms of existence, the conversation is not, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. It is, oh, this excites me, let's create this, let's build this, let's do this. It is creation conversation. Futamatani hatanik tiatana hatai. Shushu, please give me some love heart emojis if this resonates for you. Yet please also remember that realms exist within us. It's not that the lower realms exist out there and we've got to save people from them. That when we let go of fear, when we let go of scarcity, when we let go and complete with co-creating with these frequencies, and we remember that we're not just worthy, we are fractals of light, we are source, we are gods, we are goddesses, we are pure light consciousness. Nothing can be more worthy than us, because we are the very fabric of the multiverse. We always were. The I am statement is even more ingrained here. And futamatani hatai, this is also why some of the messages being shared are being shared through middle realm. If anyone shares a message, they'll receive data. If they are currently occupying more of their middle realm consciousness in the moment of even receiving the message, they will interpret the codex through the consciousness. Does this make sense? And so one of the messages that has been shared has been that the new earth is to be created by the goddess, by the feminine. Please write yes in the chat if you've heard this in your ascension journey, that it is the goddess rising, that the goddess is creating the new earth. Yes, 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 yes. It's the divine feminine that creates the new earth. So, hutomatani hataniktai, foshumaktani hatai, even though, yes, of course, the feminine is rising out of a grid where she was, experiencing herself being perceived as not equal to the man. Yet the reality is the opportunity of what's happening is so much more than this. If you would like to share a bit more about this.
Absolutely. Source consciousness is represented by two aspects, feminine, masculine. Sophia Christ consciousness and divine source Christ consciousness. They do not exist separately, they do not exist apart from each other, yet they do represent some signature frequencies and that are manifesting slightly different. So when we hear statements like the new golden age is to be led by the feminine, by the divine feminine, many of us who have solidified and quite formed and quite solid ego structure that is anchored in middle realms through some aspects, through some fractals, may perceive that yes, it's time for the woman to lead the way. Yay, no more men, it's all about us girls. I mean, I make it sound funny, but there are so many messages like that, and they exactly worded to program people to hear it like that, to create separation between man and woman, to create separation ultimately, not even man and woman, but divine source consciousness, feminine and masculine, which is a multi-dimensional aspect of creation. So beautiful souls, feminine aspect is the one that envisions, that dreams, and is tapped into the rose and softness of the beingness, and the masculine consciousness, masculine energy, and masculine archetypal structure is the one that births and holds and beautifully creates networks and architectures around the flow. This is why we get to reflect on chaos and order. So order is more of a masculine structure, and chaos is the essence that erases and completely removes all that has been formed before, so new can be birthed. It is a subtle and very intricate dance between those beautiful energies and those beautiful aspects that are made and coded with source light. They exist within ourselves. Yet, beautiful souls, we have to understand, all of us, that one cannot exist without another. And there are times when we are being called to explore more of a masculine energy and more of a masculine archetype within ourselves. There are times when we are called to do the same with the feminine, yet eventually we are to bring all to coherence and to unification, because this is the alchemy of creation, when we master one, when we master another, through and through, mentally, emotionally, energetically, physically, and we bring both together and we merge it into one pattern. And this is when the cosmic flame gets ignited and the newness is being birthed. Whether it is a vision, it's a being, it's a soul, we birth. And during this cycle of ascension, it's absolutely important to be reminded of this, and we have to be the ones who remind ourselves that feminine exists within the masculine and masculine exists within the feminine. There is no way that those can be separated. This is not the way of unity. This is not the way of love. Of course, everything gets to exist within the multidimensionality of universe and galaxies. Within every realm, every dimension, and every dynamic gets to exist. So nothing can ever be completely removed, yet the ascension codes can be brought into structures that are lacking love, that are lacking empathy. And if we are to raise our frequency, if we are to truly master our own being and to be devoted and committed to the way of love, to the way of the heart, and to the way of source that is speaking through us, leading us, we will eventually completely harmonize all that has ever been deformed and impacted by illusion and scarcity and forgetfulness. Yet, if we are to follow blindly structures that are being imposed to humanity from middle realms, because those structures, they quite solidified and they get to receive codes of ascension. But yet if we are to follow the messages such as feminine, it's the era of goddess, we are the ones, when you hear this message, what do you feel? As a woman, you may feel empowered if that invokes tender parts within yourself, those parts that you are to truly honor and love, like softness and knowing that I am worthy, I'm enough, I am divine, and I am source. So I have nothing to prove. I can get excited because it's fun, but it doesn't tap into the ego structure. Yet if you are more of a man in the masculine body and you're hearing this message, how does it make you feel? I assume personally, I'm in the feminine body, I assume that it doesn't feel very nice to hear that, because it creates the separation. And this is not the way of unity consciousness. It's not the way of source. Source and love always involves all. Yet if we are to remain in the collective flow of consciousness within the middle realm and lower realm, if we are to truly allow this conditioning to be engraved in our system, if we are to say yes to that, and if we are saying yes to that, it means that we're becoming part of that
narrative, that reality, creating those worlds.
Yep. I've been receiving messages from councils of light that there are timelines that if humanity and more beings who are incarnated here on earth will choose that narrative and choose to subscribe and give the consent to be part of that dynamic, what can potentially happen is that the population of men would be decreased on planet Earth, and mainly, predominantly, females would be born into form. And guess what happens? Everything is always coming from something else, right? We have so many different strands of DNA. We have so many different codes and programs and templates within our avatars, within our system, that are inserted into our field because we said, yes, we want to explore and experiment on this dynamic. I want to know what it feels like. And there are different beings in the universe and galaxies who also have alternative vision for humanity, and they're offering their pathways and other pathways and other pathways. Yet we have entire universe to co-create with. And that's why it's very important to really stay anchored in our heart consciousness, to reactivate it over and over again. The process of ascension never ends. It continues, it's ongoing, it's not a destination, it's the actual process. So there will always be times when we'll be invited to connect even more to the essence of our kindness, compassion, mercy, softness, yet generosity, devotion, and so on.